Me and EJ made our way too early top 25 lists for the 2025 to 2026 college football season, baby. We're going to dive into this. So what I have is I have graphics for our top 10, and then I have the Word documents that go through number 25 to number 11. So I'm going to switch to this, and you guys are going to see our top, well, from top 20, from 25 to number 11. EJ, let's start with yours first, man. Let's go ahead and dive into it. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. We're starting it off strong. EJ, if you want to kind of go through each one, starting with your 25, and we can just kind of talk about it. I also have in the Word document, as you can see, your little captions you wrote for each one, which is awesome. I love it. So if you just kind of want to go through each one, man, we'll chat it up.
Thanks. Yeah, so this is I'll go through this relatively quickly because I want to spend most of the time on the top 10. But I kind of just looked at returners and what made the team special this year and whether or not they're going to be able to return more of that secret sauce next year and then complement it with good returning players, players that stepped up, etc. I gave a lot of weight to quarterbacks who are returning to your team for a little bit of continuity. And that, this, that, and the other. So 25, I got Ole Miss. Um, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, they should be higher than that. They were so good last year. Yeah, but they lost a couple games that they shouldn't have lost. They were the heavy favorites. I really thought Ole Miss was as good as Texas, but for some reason you lost to Kentucky and you got beat by Florida. So you can't lose those games. They do return Austin Simmons, a quarterback who is really, really good. Caden Lee is a really good wide receiver. And they return a couple of guys on the defensive side of the ball that I really liked. Uh, uh, Perkins, I can't ever Suntarian. I think his name is Suntarian Perkins. He's really, really good. And Harris on the D line. You got Lane Kiffin at OC, so you're going to be really good. Navy, I have them at number 24. You return your starting quarterback. I mean, Navy, who would have thought it? Who'd have thought? They run the ball, they're physical. Didn't they beat Oklahoma? So, this is a team that can hang in there with the best of the best. And everybody said, well, Oklahoma's trash. Oklahoma has the seventh, and you look at the recruiting rank, the star ratings of everybody on the roster. They have a top 10 roster and they couldn't even beat an Navy. So Horvath, really good. And then they return these two backs where they run that triple option. Navy, you're in there. SMU, I think this is probably a good place for them. They're still a top 25 team, in my opinion. Jennings, you return him. That's all you need, really, to be a really solid little team. And you return pretty much the core of your offensive line. So you should have a really good offense. I'd be interested to see defensively if they can hold up. Um, Davis Robinson, their starting corner, is back. So I like them. Indiana. Now you're losing your quarterback, but you still got our man, a head coach. Wait, what's the guy's name?
Kurt Signetti,
Oh yeah, that's Logan's guy,
my
by the
guy.
way. Kirk Signetti. He put all his eggs in that Kirk Signetti basket. Um, we'll see what happens. If Indiana goes crazy in the portal and brings some guys in, hey, maybe they'll actually be good.
I like their quarterback. They got Fernando Med. Oh my God, what's his last name? I don't know. The guy that came in from Cal.
Oh yeah.
A really good transfer quarterback. I think a guy that is going to work really
Okay.
well under this Kurt Signetti offense. I have Indiana. I'll talk about him as well once I do mine. But yeah, that's a really good quarterback. I think that's going to be Signetti's style. I feel like there's another team that does the same thing where they get a new quarterback every year. I feel like there is one. I'm not thinking. But I feel like
Notre
that's
Dame.
there you go. Notre Dame, exactly. Both in two Indiana teams. And I feel like Indiana is going to be that team where they bring in a new quarterback every year. I really like Fernando. Once again, can't remember his last name. I think he's going to fit in well. Very tough quarterback, very athletic. It's going to be fun to see. So I like that placement.
Sweet. And then I'll just do my number 21, and I'll let you do your 25 to, or do you want me to just keep going?
You could just do your, yeah. Well, you could do your bottom 20. I'll do my bottom 20. I like that.
All right. All right. So I got Baylor at number 21. Uh, Baylor, what the hell happened in the bowl game? I picked you as an upset. LSU, they lost. They didn't half the players didn't play. And so anyway, uh, my main man, head coach. Wait, I keep
For
my
Baylor.
brain. Yes.
Yeah. The bald guy.
Yes.
Um.
LSU. He's the coach at
Oh my
LSU.
God. Yeah. Oh Jesus. All right. I'll look that up. Good.
Yes, you guys can instant chat us and tell us who this guy is. Anyway, Sawyer Robertson, your
Dave Aranda.
quarterback. Dave Aranda. Okay. Dave Aranda. We need a defense. Okay. You're bringing in some guys. You got to be able to stop somebody. If you can do that, I have faith in this offense because you're returning your whole offensive line, your quarterback, your running back, and your leading receiver. You should be able to do something. So, Baylor, do something. Kansas State, hey, Avery Johnson. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of him. Dylan Edwards. Everybody remembers that name. I really like Kansas State's backfield. Um, so I think Kansas State will probably have one of the better offenses in the Big 12. Let's see if they can stop anyone. Number 19, going in well into the top 20. Boise. Boise. Hey, you're returning Maddox Matson. That's like one of the best names I've ever seen. Mad Max. We just call him Mad Max. He's a great quarterback. Then I don't think you're returning your running back, which is kind of iffy for me, for you, but with the Heisman candidate.
They did have a
But
big time transfer with that one running back.
ooh,
There was
I didn't
a
put him in here.
yeah. No, you're good. There was a bit. There was a starting running back from a Big 12 team that moved over to Boise State. I can't remember who it was, but a guy that got a lot of carries. So I think they'll be okay in that running back room.
Well, and usually what as it goes when you have like Ashton Genty, who's a great running back, good running backs want to come to you because you made him so good and he was a featured back, so that makes sense. And then get a good running back, Boise. Maybe this is your second year in a row in the playoffs. Okay, guys, how the hell is Boise making the playoffs every year and we can't even make it one year? Anyway, Texas A&M, Aggies. I got you at number 18. Marcel Reed's going to be the starter. He's pretty good. Le'Veon Moss is your running back. He can run people over. You're returning your whole offensive line. So I think Texas A&M is a really good team. It's just very difficult with the schedule that they play and the fact that the SEC, everyone's going to get fired if you don't win every game, and but everyone wants to win every game, so someone's going to lose. So I think A&M has a really good chance this will be the second year for their coach. Miami. Okay, I didn't put the I should have put in here the quarterback Carson Beck's, who's going to be transferring to Miami. Miami's one of the few teams that knows who their returner is going to be. Now you did lose my main man Restrepo out of the wide receiver. He was really good. But and you did lose Martinez, the running back from Oregon State, who, by the way, was running all over us when we went to the Vegas Bowl. So guess what? If you look at the final score of Martinez versus the Gators, it was 71-20. When you add up the scores, they killed us. So how the hell Martinez was running all over us? Anyway, I still don't put Miami higher than this, even though they got Carson Beck's, just because I'm kind of like, they're going to find a way to lose something. BYU, you're impressed. Coach Prime, I'm repping Coach Prime. BYU, you destroyed Colorado.
Insane.
I really like Retzlaff, and I really like your coach. Physical, hard hitting team. Uh, I think BYU should be the favorite in the Big 12 this year to win it. So let's see if that happens. Illinois, I got you at number 15. You guys impressed me with the South Carolina. I wouldn't have even had you up here if it wasn't for the South Carolina bowl game. But Luke Altmaier and your whole offensive line apparently is coming back. So you also got these defensive guys that were leading in. I didn't put the categories that they led in, but like one's in tackles, one's in interceptions, and another one is like something else. So you return all these guys and you beat South Carolina. Hey, y'all remember that? The coach, the Illinois coach, taunting. There you go. Injury. If you guys
Brett
do
Bielema.
that, Brett Bielema. If you guys just fake the injuries the whole season, maybe you will win the Big Ten. We'll see. Tennessee. You weren't the only 10 I see. Now listen. I got to see more out of Nico before I put you higher than this. People are going to say, well, Tennessee should be top 10. This is what their fans are going to say. We should be top 10. Why are we not top 10? Well, Nico wasn't as great as y'all thought he was going to be.
He's not even
That's
good.
number one. I mean, I've seen worse, but they're talking about him like he was going to be who's the one guy? Uh
Like a Hendon Hooker from 2019 or 2021, whatever it was.
Tua. Yeah.
There
So
you go.
I was with a Tennessee fan. I said, "Yeah. How's that Nico? Can you say his last name?" They said, "No, because we just say Nico." So they can't even pronounce his name in Imaliava. They can't even say that in Tennessee, apparently. So now he was saying, "Yeah, he's gonna just be like Tua. No one can say Tago Viola. So Nico Tua. That's who he is." I was like, "So you're saying he's gonna be as good as Tua?" "Yeah, he's gonna be better than Tua because he can run." So I said, "Okay, we'll see what happens, dude." Nico, it started off good. You clobbered NC State. Couldn't do anything after that. Now here's the deal: you did win 10 games. But you won 10 games because your defense stopped people and you didn't play any good offenses. We should have won that game. So Alabama imploded. So I really like Tennessee. Let's see what they can do. I think they're going to be a good team every year. Let's see what happens. South Kakalaki, right on the edge. I got you of the playoff.
Beamer ball.
Beamer ball is back, baby. Now, South Carolina, I would have had you top 10, but the way you dropped the game to Illinois, what were you thinking? Lenora Sellers, you shouldn't have been. You only scored like 21 points that game. I really like South Carolina's offense. I think they can be very difficult to get off the field. Couple that with Beamer ball. I don't think they're going to have a really good defense for some. Their defense does have a tendency to swarm you when they get momentum, but if you can get them on their heels, they're not a defense that's really going to, stuff you.
Well, also
So
they lost a lot of guys on the line as well, on the defensive
yeah,
line.
they lost. Yes, they lost a lot of guys on the offensive line. So Lenora Sellers is going to have to Superman his way through the season. Let's see if that works. Last two, the Tide. Now listen, Tide. Who's going to be your quarterback? Alabama's another team that I think is probably gonna try to portal quarterback. I don't even know who's in the portal. So DeBoer, Alabama fans aren't too happy, my friend. I still got you at number 12 because y'all are gonna have the most talented roster technically. Ryan Williams, you got just go deep. So I got Alabama up there. I'm really interested to see who they bring in at quarterback. DeBoer inherited what's the guy's name? I always forget these people's names. The quarterback. Milroe.
Yeah.
You inherited Milroe. You didn't use him properly. Milroe shouldn't be throwing the ball more than 15 times a game, DeBoer. Run him. Do like a TJ, whatever that guy's name is, Vince Young. You didn't do it. You lost. It is what it is. You still have very good talent. I got you at number 12. Number 11. This team's going to be familiar, Alabama. Alabama. This team's going to be real familiar. Michigan. The Wolverines. I got you at number 11. Now listen. You lost some players. Your quarterback got hurt in the Alabama game. Who knows if he's going to be back? But I love this Michigan. I put you up here because of your defense alone. I don't know what it is, but it's like when Michigan plays defense, no one can do anything. You can't run, you can't throw, you can't scramble, you can't catch, you fumble. Alabama had a sequence where they ran 4 plays, they had 4 turnovers. I was like, I've never seen anything like this. Is it the rain? And the guy was like, well, if it keeps raining like this for the rest of the game, I don't know how Alabama's going to do it. I'm like, it's Florida, dude. It rains for like 10 seconds, and then it's going to look like a resort. It's going to be like so sunny. You're not even going to see one cloud.
I was at the gym, and it was pouring down rain on the TV, and then I literally go do like an arm workout, like 3 sets, come back. It is so sunny. It looks like the Bahamas.
This is Florida. Like these clouds, it's like torrential downpour, and then 5 minutes later, it's a beautiful day again. That's how you stay nice and moisturized. Anyway, Michigan, you got a great defense. That alone is why I have you up here. Shamar Moore, you need an offense. Open up the playbook. Now I get it. You were coached by Harbaugh. He's hard-nosed, under center, handoff, power football. Maybe that's what you do, but at the end of the day, I got you up here because you beat Ohio State. Who's got more impressive wins than Michigan the last 2 games? You beat the national champs, and then you beat Alabama, who top 5 team or program. So Michigan, just outside the top 10. Got you at number 11.
I like it. Let's go see how this is going to differ with my 25 to number 11. I have some bubble teams on here. I got Washington, Boise State, Duke, and Minnesota. Also, EJ, everyone watching this, I encourage you to go and try to make a top 25. It is so tough. There's so many teams that I left out where I was like, oh my God, I want these teams being here, but then I got this one, and then new teams kept jumping at me. It was not easy, man. So these 4 teams, Washington, I like Washington because they have a young quarterback that I love. I think this is a future Heisman winner type of guy. I watched his bowl game, which he played really well in a little bit throughout the season. He's athletic. The way his ball comes out of his hands is smooth. I really, really enjoy his style of play there at Washington. And, Fish, the offensive or the head coach, really good coach. I actually wanted him to come to Florida if we did fire Billy Napier. First season, it's a rebuild season, obviously, at Washington. Kalen DeBoer leaving to go to Alabama. But yeah, really, I don't want to spend too much time on him. Really enjoy Washington. Think they're going to be a pretty good team this year with that young quarterback in the system. Boise State, EJ kind of said everything that needs to be said with them. losing Ashton Genty, which is the heart of your offense, but you do still have Madsen, I believe is the quarterback's name back there, a quarterback that can manage and do well. They have a couple really good transfers in this class, especially in the running back position. I don't think they're going to, I mean, you're obviously going to see a major drop-off, but they're still going to be a really good rushing attack type of team. Going to be fun to see what they do there in their conference, the Mountain West. Then we have Duke, a team that, listen, they went 9-3 this past year. Or 9-4, I think, because they lost against Ole Miss in the bowl game and the Gator Bowl. They didn't look great, but look, Duke's having a transfer at quarterback. They have I think Tulane quarterback coming in. That's a great fit there. Dude's a really good quarterback. They're not going to take a step back. If anything, they're going to take a step forward. I think they're a big contender in the ACC. They also have some guys that left Duke in the transfer portal. That's why I don't have them too high. Next one we have is Minnesota. I've talked so highly of Minnesota. I really like this Minnesota team. Some returning guys there. They do have a lot of guys leaving, though. But defensively, they're young. I like their defense. That's why I have them on the bubble as well. Number 25, as we get into the top 25, I have Auburn. Look, you got Jackson Arnold coming in, and the quarterback from Oklahoma. Did not have a couple of good games, but did finish the year kind of strong for Oklahoma. A very highly talented guy, just needs to find his footing, and I think this Hugh Freeze offensive system is a good fit for him. I think he's the type of quarterback that you can't just throw him into a system and he's going to be good. I think he needs a system that works for him. I think you're going to see that at Auburn. Also, Hugh Freeze on the hot seat, right? Auburn fans are pissed. They want to have a good season. It's been rough under Hugh Freeze. He needs to have a good season. I think they're going to have a good season. I think you're going to see a really good, a very physical team. I think Auburn's going to be that team that you don't want to play because they can beat anybody. I think that's going to be the type of team Auburn's going to be. But they'll still go like 8-4. Next one we have is Texas Tech, a team that I really, really like. Their offensive powerhouse, man. They love to throw the football. That offense, that the legend, I cannot even think of his name, the coach that passed away, man. That coach at Mississippi State. I'm just blanking. Oh man. Yeah, you're muted right now, EJ. I can't remember. Oh, that's terrible. Anyways, invented the air raid, really, made it a big thing. And I guess Spurrier probably.
Mike Leach, sorry.
Mike Leach, there you go. The Pirate. Yeah, he still has his, footprint here. And you see that air raid style. Love it. Great portal class. A sneaky, kind of like top 10 portal class for Texas Tech. Brought in a lot of really good players at the wide receiver position. They're going to be scary offensively again this year. Number 23, I have Georgia Tech because of their returning quarterback and a lot of other players as well. I was very surprised to see their quarterback come back. That's one thing, EJ, we haven't really talked about. Obviously, there's a lot of players moving all around, but you're seeing a lot of players stay in college football because they can make more money than a rookie contract. And so you're seeing a lot of teams, have a lot of returnees here, and one of those teams is Georgia Tech. So very excited to see them because they have a lot of returning quarterbacks, or because they have a lot of returning players. They're going to be kind of that same sneaky, very physical team that they were this past year. Number 22, I have Michigan. Oh. I do like their defense a lot, EJ, but I'm worried about their offense. They have a true freshman quarterback coming in. I know everyone's very excited about him, but he's a true freshman quarterback. So who are you going to have now at this quarterback position? Because Orji is not going to do shit. He is not a good quarterback. He's like Milroe, but a worse passer somehow. You're gonna have to get this freshman incorporated early on, kind of maybe like a Dylan Raiola season, right, where he's okay, has big moments, but has a lot to learn and develop on. I think that's going to be Michigan. I think next year, not this year, this upcoming season, but the next season is going to be Michigan's year again to make a big run. So we'll see what happens there. They're just not ready yet. Number 21, BYU, because of their returning unit that they have. Like you talked about, they got a lot of guys coming back. They don't have a shit ton of competition in the Big 12. So I expect them to make a big time run over there and play some good football. They didn't lose a lot of guys, so I don't know how they would take a step back really. I see them having another 10-win season. And being that team that people point to and go, oh, they're pretty good. I like them. Next one we have South Carolina at number 20. I really, really like the South Carolina offense, like you were talking about. I think Lenora Sellers is a Heisman contender for next year, which we'll obviously make a list for our Heisman watch list later on. We might even do it, I think maybe after the spring games would be fun, just so we can kind of see some of these players play. But yeah, when it comes to Lenora Sellers, man, one of the most naturally talented guys that we have in college football and in the sport and football in general. Man, I watched that bowl. Was it the bowl game or it was the Clemson game? This dude broke like 8 tackles. He looked like Jordan Travis against us and Doe Campbell a couple years ago. This dude he looked like a running back there, man. But he moves just so quick. I'm just worried about their defense, right? Their defensive line. They lost a lot of guys. We'll see what they're like on defense, but they had a really good portal class. So we'll see what they can do there in putting these pieces in this big puzzle. Next one we have number 19, Ole Miss. I agree with you, EJ. A lot of unknown with this team. Austin Simmons, a guy that, he has that baseball type throw where that ball's coming at you 95 miles an hour, which is good, but also not great. Because can he make a touch on these footballs down the field and fit him in these tight windows? Or is he going to bullet the pass and then have it picked off, from a underneath defender, right? So he just has to figure out how to put touch on the ball, something that Richardson also struggled with when he was here at the University of Florida. So I do think he's very talented. I do really like this Ole Miss team. But I think they're going to kind of be that typical, lane team where they're like, 15-10 maybe they might finish the season. There's a lot of unknown with them that I'm not totally sure on yet. So that's why they're at number 19. Number 18, I have Iowa State, a team that's also going to return a lot of guys, a team that looked really, really good against Miami. Okay. Becht is coming back at quarterback. They got a lot of guys coming back at receiver. That was just an absolute shootout against Miami. I think it was the Cheez-It Bowl. And I think it was 28-28 at halftime. No defense.
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tart. There you go. So I am very excited to see this Iowa State team. I don't see them taking a step back. And when you have a coach like Matt Campbell, he's going to have his team ready to go. And I think they're going to get some momentum here coming into this new season, a team to watch.
Good pick. Good pick.
Yep. Next one we have, it's just the reason I don't have them too much higher is because of talent, right? They can't compare to some of these other teams. Next one we have is number 17, Indiana. Kind of everything that you said. Kurt Cignetti knows how to, create a team. Look at Indiana this year. Their 2 losses came to Ohio State, and what was the other one?
In the playoffs.
Notre Dame. Yeah, exactly. So the 2 teams that were in the national championship. So it's like, hey, he knows how to build a football team.
And they beat Michigan.
They looked really good in that game, man. Listen, they have some good returning players. My thing is Fernando Mesca, whatever his name is he going to, at the quarterback position, fit into the system? I think he will. But it's obviously a big jump from playing over there at Cal to coming over here into the Big Ten. He's going to be playing a lot more competition on a consistent basis. They also, I think, go to Penn State this season. So they do have a tougher schedule. Indiana does this year. So I don't think they're going to go 11-1 in the regular season again, but I do think that they're going to be a good football team that you're not really going to want to play in the Big Ten. Next one we have is Kansas State. I really like this Kansas State team. Like you were talking about, Avery Johnson, some really good guys in the backfield here for this Kansas State team. Just based off of their returning talent in general, I think they're going to be a team that is, once again, that you're not really going to want to play. By the way, Big 12 looks scary again this season, man. They're just stacked. They were probably the most fun conference to watch this past season, and now you're going to see them do the same thing again. Cannot wait to see Kansas State and see what they can bring to the table. I only see them taking a step forward. Next one we have is Alabama at number 15. EJ, like you said, they either got to go get a quarterback in the portal, or there's a lot of talks that they like what they have in their room already at the moment, but names that I've never heard of. So I'm not set on that. I don't like it. I do trust Kalen DeBoer to have a good offense, but we don't know who the hell their quarterback's going to be, and because of that, I have them at 15. Is Alabama going to get back to that powerhouse team that Alabama is the big question. I don't think so this year. Next one we have is number 14 in Miami. Look, I like this Miami team. They have a lot of talent. but you got Carson Beck at quarterback. I think Carson Beck is not a guy that can win a national championship at quarterback. I don't think he's a guy that can really consistently win in the playoff at quarterback. I think he's a game manager guy back there. And look, when you look at Miami, a team that is probably going to be worse than they were last year, right? If you take Cam Ward and put Carson Beck in, they have 4 losses. They do. Cam Ward by himself had how many game-winning? I think 3 game-winning drives. Literally 3 game-winning drives this past season. So I think you have to, you got to appreciate that and see that as a variable. So yeah, I got Carson Beck being an okay quarterback, but I think they're going to play in a tough ACC, really tough ACC conference actually this year. I think they're going to be sneaky. We'll see what happens with them. Number 13, I have Louisville. The reason I have Louisville so high is because they have Miller Moss at quarterback, the USC transfer, who I love. I love him at quarterback. He's going to be in a Josh Braun offensive scheme, who's the head coach for Louisville, who loves to throw the football. He's a very aggressive offensive play caller and offensive scheme guy. I think they're going to be probably, in my opinion, one of the most fun teams to watch this year. The big question about Louisville, and it happened this year, is can they play good on defense enough to where they give their offense time to just... They played a lot of catch-up ball this year, right? Can you let your offense just kind of do their thing and stay within their system and within their scheme, and let them do their thing? That's going to be the big question. They are kind of high. I know people are like, why the hell is Louisville at number 13? But like I said, in the ACC, they're going to be competitive this year, and I think Louisville is going to be... I wanted one team that's going to shock a lot of people. I think Louisville is going to be that football team with Miller Moss at the helm.
Okay, all right.
Next one we have is number 12, Texas A&M. Everything that you talked about, EJ, I think they're a very good football team, man. You have a lot of returning guys, even I can't even think of his name at the quarterback position. A guy that's Marcel. There you go, Marcel Reed, a guy that is very athletic, can extend plays, and all they did was add to their roster this season with that talent and this recruiting class and all that. And I really, really like their head coach, and I'm excited to see what they do this year. Texas A&M is a team that wants to win the national championship every single year, so they're going to come in, firing on all cylinders. I just don't like Marcel Reed because I think he's very, very limited as a quarterback. If you can stop him running the football, can he drop back and pass the ball consistently? Whoever their offensive coordinator is, which I don't know. Oh, it's oh my God, it's isn't it the old Arkansas offensive coordinator, or is he at Arkansas right now? Oh my God, I don't know who the offensive coordinator is for Texas A&M. But look, you're going to have to do what I kind of talked about what Billy Napier has to do. Make it easy for Marcel Reed. Dumb down the game. Get it to your playmakers on the outside. You have a good running back room. Give them the ball. Find some consistency in the run game. And then, of course, rely on that 12th man, which Texas A&M does so well. It's actually very symbolic how I have them at number 12. Number 11, I have a team that you were really big on, EJ. You kind of talked about Illinois. Surprised us all. Hey, in the bowl game. They are a little high. I looking at it, I should have brought them down a little bit. But look, they're returning, like you said, their entire offensive line. They're returning their quarterback. Yeah, look, man, I think they can make a little run in the Big Ten. I think with how beat up Indiana's going to be with this schedule, I think they're going to be above Indiana, and I think it's going to be them in Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, kind of up there at that top point. So yeah, I'm very excited to see Illinois this season. I think Brett Bielema is a really good coach who knows how to build a program, and I think if they can just keep up this consistency, we'll see what happens. Another team that I'm kind of taking a risk on here, I'm putting them that high, but I think that they're a very good football team when it comes to when everything's said and done. So that's kind of my 25 to number 11. EJ, you ready to dive into this top 10?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. All right, so we're going to start with EJ's top 10 first. Here it is. It's on your screen right now, everyone. EJ, I like it. Let's go through it. Start at number 10, work your way up. Let's hear your thoughts, man.
Well, we're a Gator podcast, so people are going to be like, you guys are homers. You put Florida in the top 10. They're not even ranked. people. On three came out and said we were number 8. Okay, so we're just going off of what we know. And if you were to look at the last 4 games, this is the thing. 4 games is a quarter of the season. When you look at the last quarter of the season, the fourth quarter of the season, we were probably top 5 the way we were playing. I mean, should have beat Georgia. Yeah, Texas hammered us. But you beat 2 straight ranked teams. You hammer your rival when we were all not even playing that great. And then we play Tulane and we beat them really good. So we had to be one of the top 10 from a statistical standpoint team in the nation. So you're bringing back DJ Lagway and Jaden Baugh and Jacoby Jackson. And then I think we got another running back there that's going to start running over people. Who's the guy that was injured? Number 5. Um,
Webb, Trayon Webb.
Trayon Webb.
By the way, I also have Florida at number 10, so we could talk about it together.
Oh, great. So then the defensive line, we got great players coming back. Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks. We're going to sack you. And then you can't sack us because we got Jake Slaughterhouse. So the only thing that I'm a little bit worried about is obviously the schedule. If we had an easier schedule like Tennessee, maybe we would win 10 games. But no, we have to play Miami, USF, which is better than some of these little Samford teams that we normally play. Who's the other team we got to play? Texas. We got to play the whole state of Texas.
It's insane. Yeah.
Ole Miss, LSU, Georgia. Maybe FSU's better. Who knows? Tennessee. We play Tennessee at the end of the year. Why'd they come up with that? Who knows? It's a crazy year. So I got us at number 10. If I'm a betting man, I'd probably say we start off in the AP around number 20 because people are going to say, well, yeah, we probably would rank them up there, but, we got to see if they can win some games and then we'll figure out where we want to rank them. So I kind of feel like if we actually win some of these early games, they'll catapult us up to the top 10. But relative to how all the other teams behind us looked at the end of the year, to us, and based on what we have coming back, we're number 10.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you got to throw Florida in the top 10 based on the potential alone. I mean, you have one of the best quarterbacks in the country and one of the best running back groups in the country. And I think when you look at that, and honestly, maybe one of the sneaky best wide receiver groups in the country. If Trey Wilson can stay healthy, you got a lot of these young guys coming in. You also have Aiden Mizell. Hopefully, you can put some more weight on and be less injury prone. And dude, we're gonna be. When you look at that wide receiver group, that's going to be scary. You got a lot of returning. Our best offensive linemen are coming back. Defensively, like you stated, a lot of young, big, standout guys last year are going to be coming back. We have Gums, right, coming back as well. Sapp, Banks is coming. Like, we have a lot of really good. We have Grayson Howard, a guy that got hurt, right? Pup Howard's coming back. We have a lot of returnees, man, and this is a Florida team that's experienced, a Florida team that is tired of all the hate. They have momentum at the end of the season. And when you look at momentum at the end of a year, that really affects that next season, man. And I think, especially with returnees, and I think we have a chip on our shoulder. So I really like that number 10 spot, and that's why I have them at number 10 as well.
Nice.
All right, EJ, number 9. Let's hear it.
All right, so going to number 9, Clem Weezy. I got the Clemson Tigers at number 9. Dabo Sweeney, you haven't lost your touch too much. You still got a really talented team. Cade Klubnik coming back thanks to NIL. Now here's the deal. He's been there since the Trevor Lawrence. He's been there since Trevor Lawrence left, right? Like he's been there for 10 damn years.
Forever, dude.
Can't Klubnik. This is your year. You can't be dink and dunk cave anymore. You gotta be able to go deep and hit the deep ball. That's what Clemson fans want to see. They want to see you go up top. Antonio Williams, good wide receiver that I noticed. You got some good linebackers coming back. And guess what? You won the ACC. You made the playoff. You shouldn't be losing to these Louisville teams. Well, maybe this year. But you shouldn't be losing. I got Clemson at number 9. Top 10. There you go.
I like it. I like it. Also, I just want to say, I did not have Tennessee in my top 25. They definitely are a top 25 team. That's my bad.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, they're for me probably around like number. I would have them around like maybe 18, 17, around there. I just don't like Nico. And what reminded me of that was the deep ball, right? What Tennessee's offense is built around, Josh Heupel's system is hitting the deep ball. Nico cannot do that to save his life. Literally cannot do it to save his life. And that's also the issue. Maybe if he's in a better system, he's very talented. He can be better. But same thing goes for Klubnik, right? I mean, you're in an offensive system under the offensive coordinator who came from TCU and won the national championship there, right? And now that he's at Clemson, what did Max Duggan do at TCU that made them dangerous? Explosive plays. His offense is built around explosive plays. They did get better later in the year with that, but I totally agree. Klubnik has to just get more consistent on hitting these down passes.
Love it. Yeah, and I was gonna say, Logan, where's Tennessee? I was gonna say it to the end though.
I love it.
You picked it up. Arizona State. I got you at number 8. Man, did you impress me? Now here's the deal. Scatterboo's gone. Let me tell you, that guy's gonna put him on your fantasy team. That guy's incredible. But hey, look, I love your coach, and I like Sam Levitt, the quarterback, and you had a great offensive firepower. Scatterboo was a lot of that, but I'm trusting Sam Levitt to really come on strong. Your defense was actually pretty good. I think you're going to battle BYU for the Big 12. So Arizona State, number 8.
I love it.
Okay, I'm going to keep going.
Yep, keep going.
LSU. I got you number 7. Now listen. Some people say, well, why you got LSU number 7 and not the Gators? The Gators should be higher than them. Yeah, true. But listen, LSU's got a little easier schedule. Okay, they play a bunch of cupcakes, so they should be able to win more games. And I like Brian Kelly. His family is moving to Baton Rouge. My family's in Baton Rouge. Garrett Nussmeier. I think Garrett Nussmeier has probably capped out in terms of how good he can be. I'm expecting other players on LSU to step up. You got Jack Pyburn now on your team, so you're going to be sacking everybody apparently, and he's going to play every third down. He's mandatory in every third down. I'm trusting LSU to have a breakout year. Now listen, I don't think they're going to have a breakout year against us because it's going to be 50-50 when we go down there. But I do expect LSU to beat everybody else because guess what, LSU? Alabama's not big bad Nick Saban anymore. They ran you over last year 42-13. How the hell did you lose 42-13? You did beat Ole Miss in the comeback. You beat South Carolina. I still think that was a penalty. So I know South Carolina fans, It's not a penalty. It wasn't a blindside block.
Does LSU even play Georgia this year? I'm gonna look up their schedule
No,
because if not, that's huge.
no, I think we all play the same exact teams we played this year.
Mm.
So, except it's reverse, like road home. So, LSU, you got a chance. Don't let me down. The Tigers. And one thing that people don't know is the Tigers. Tiger is the most aggressive animal in the wild. Okay? A lot of people think it's the lion. No, the tiger will rip you to freaking shreds. That is what we need to see from LSU. If not, we're going to call you the LSU Lions. Like Detroit, you just lose when it's time for you to actually win. You're going to need to change your mascot to the Lions if you're not aggressive enough. You got to earn that tiger. LSU. All right. Number 6. Now, I don't know who's your quarterback going to be, but you got enough talent. You stacked it up to where Oregon is number 6. Evan Stewart and your 2 defensive ends. Incredible. Now, I am going to speculate a little bit as to whether or not you can keep this going because you do play in the Big Ten, a bunch of teams that are going to have to adapt to the fact that Oregon's in our conference now. Because the Big Ten, slow, hog molly, Wisconsin, hand the ball off, make cheese on the offensive line. But now that Oregon's in there, it's kind of like Steve Spurrier. When Steve Spurrier came to the SEC, fun and gun. Oh crap. Now we actually have to play defense. We got to recruit. We got to stop these. We got to recruit to stop this one team. The Big Ten has Oregon and Ohio State now. So guess what? Evolution of the Big Ten? We don't know. Big Ten has won 2 straight titles. Oregon, you're not one of them. Maybe this year you change. But I got Oregon, number 6. Okay, are we gonna do 10 through 6 and then we both do top 5?
I'm down. I'm down. Let me let me get mine up. This is
Okay.
so interesting, man. I love it. I love it. Alrighty, mine's on the screen. Actually, literally all the same teams just changed around. It's great. So yeah, number 10, I have Florida. Already talked about that. Number 9 for me is LSU. I think LSU and Florida are very neck and neck for me, kind of like you stated, right? People are going to be mad that LSU's above Florida, whatever. But I think you got to look at LSU in the sense of they're more reliable, right? They have a veteran quarterback in Nussmeier, a guy that I actually really respect based on the fact that he's been at LSU for 5 years now, is not transferred. So you got to really respect that from him. A true Tiger. It's rare nowadays. You got to give him respect. A good quarterback. He's a good quarterback. Is he gonna win Heisman? No. People have him on the Heisman watch list already. I think that's kind of crazy, but I do think he's gonna do a really good job. Like you said, some good pieces on that wide receiver group coming back for him. Is it Caden Durham? Their running back position coming back. Their starting running back. That is a good running back. And yeah, some great pieces in the transfer portal they gained in the for the defensive side of the ball. So I think they're gonna be. It's that typical Brian Kelly team, right? Top 15, top 10. Are they going to the national championship? No. But are they going to, take advantage of they don't have an easy schedule this year, but an easier schedule than usual? I think they will. And I think they have a chance. I mean, when you really look at it, unless I guess Texas has to fall apart, but they can make the SEC championship if all the pieces kind of align right for them. So I think LSU is a very talented team. I think that's why you got to put them up there. Number 8 for me is Arizona State. For all the reasons you said, Arizona State, they're in. It's not like they're playing an SEC schedule every single week. Now they are playing in the Big 12 teams, like we talked about with Kansas State, Iowa State, BYU. 3 really, really good teams, top 20 teams, top 25 teams that are dangerous. And once again, a year of Big 12 football that's going to be really fun to watch. And and Arizona State. Um, a lot of returning talent. Listen, I don't like their quarterback. He's just a big crybaby when you see him play football. He's like a Patrick Mahomes. He cries to the refs after every single play. It's like, just come on, dude, play football. But he is very good. And Sam Levitt. And I do like their wide receiver group. We Jordan Tyson, right, coming back. It's gonna be huge for them. I do like you're losing Cam Scattaboo, but they do have a good running back group behind him. One of the guys that took snaps when they took Scattaboo out, especially in those later games when Scattaboo was battling that injury. He did a pretty good job back there for him. So I think Arizona State's going to be fine. I think they're going to be a good football team. I do think that they can repeat and win the Big 12 championship once again. Question is, I think defensively they're going to be fine as well. I'm just worried about that running back position. You know, there's a big shoes to fill in Cam Scattaboo. Can you have maybe a 1-2 punch, you know, instead of giving it to a guy 30 times a game? Can you have a 1-2 punch that's going to be effective? That's going to be huge. But I do think because of Sam Levitt and having some of those key pieces on the offensive line, it's going to be huge for them. Number 7 for me is Oregon. I really like this Oregon team. Like you said, some really good pieces returning on the defensive side of the ball, and with Dan Lanning at the helm, that's going to be huge. Offensively is where it's going to be interesting. They got some good guys back there coming back, but at the quarterback position, what do we have? Dante Moore, right? Is he the guy that is second string now at Oregon? I think it's Dante Moore, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. I don't want to be wrong about that. Anyways, a guy that is very talented, started at UCLA, came over to Oregon. A guy that's very athletic. Good. He has a build kind of like Jaden Daniels, a little skinny, but can stay in the pocket. It's very tough. But you're filling the shoes of Dylan Gabriel, a guy that has literally played more football than anyone ever in college football history. He played like 6 seasons of college football and played almost every game in every one of those seasons. Big shoes to fill, but Dan Lanning doesn't want to be embarrassed again, right? They're going to be aggressive. He's going to want to not only go back-to-back in the Big Ten, but he's going to want to win a national championship. And I think because of that drive, we'll see what happens. I'm just worried about that quarterback position, man. Once again, that's with a lot of these teams. What's going to happen there? Next one we have is Clemson. Look, one of my boys is a big Clemson fan. I went down to the game that actually EJ went to in the Orange Bowl, Clemson versus Tennessee in 2022. First time in Miami Garden Stadium. It was gorgeous down there. Great stadium. If you guys ever had the opportunity to go, it's awesome. Clemson, a team that has a lot of returning talent. Dabo Swinney at the helm, a guy that knows a national title, caliber football team. You talked about, you have Kay Klubnik, right? A guy that got, if you watch him last year, got more comfortable as the season went along, right? He really did. He had Phil Moffitt back there. He got more comfortable in that big playmaking offense, and they really found the groove late. Is that going to transfer to this season? We'll see. I think it has to. I'm not saying Dabo Swinney's on the hot seat, but with how Clemson started this year, Clemson fans were pissed. They were not happy. This was supposed to be one of those big years for them, and it wasn't that. So they lose to SMU, so that kind of, they beat SMU, but obviously SMU makes the playoff. They don't, or made it further, whatever. They were ranked above them. Pissed off Clemson. And so we'll see how that translates to this season. Can they make it back to the ACC championship and win it? I think that they will, just because I feel like they have no other choice and people are really on Dabo Swinney's ass. So we'll see what happens down there, in South Carolina and see how that goes. So that's my 10-6. EJ, let's go through the top 5. Let me hear. What we'll do is I'll let you go 5-4. I'll go 5-4, and then we'll do our top 3.
All right, sounds good. I love those picks, by the way. Love those picks.
Love it.
Number 5, Georgia Bulldogs. Listen, Georgia fans, I know you always want to be number 1, but I got you at number 5 this year. At least for right now. We'll have to wait and see. Gunnar Stockton. I call him Stockholm. You didn't impress me in the Notre Dame game, buddy. I said you'd come out and you would do what I thought you were going to do. But you let them sack, strip, and scoop on you on the last middle eight. And guess what happened? You couldn't even score more than 10 points. So that's not great. But it's still Georgia. You got Nate Frazier coming back. Now, Nate Frazier, when you don't fumble, you're a really good running back. Stop fumbling. Except when you play Florida, then you can fumble. Dylan Bell, really like this guy. I think Georgia needs to help. They need another wide receiver. I can't believe what I was watching when I saw the Notre Dame game. People are wide open. Well, maybe it's not Gunner's totally his fault because people are wide open, and guess what? They got butterball hands. You can't catch. How are you a Georgia Bulldog and you can't catch a pass in the Sugar Bowl? So, but other than that, it's still Georgia. Their defense had a little bit of a down year, even though they were a great defense. From a Georgia standard, you should be the best defense. I expect them next year to be really good. So let's see what happens. So I got Georgia at number 5 because I'm thinking that they're going to be really, really good. But here's the deal. With the transfer portal and this, that, every day I'm portaling, guess what? Didn't look like Kirby Smart was as dominant as some of these other teams. So that's why I got you at number 5. Number 4. They look familiar, don't they? The national champs. Now listen, people are going to say, well, you should have the national champs number 1. You should always put them in number 1 because they're the national champs. Guys, this isn't the 80s. Okay, first of all, Ohio State. I really like you. You went out. Now, I don't know who your defensive coordinator is going to be because you let Jim Beyonce Knowles go to Penn State because you didn't pay him enough. And he called you out for it. How much is a top-notch defense worth, Ohio State? You got to pay the man. I do like Chip Kelly, though. He's great. Your quarterback. Who the heck's your quarterback going to be? They're saying it's going to be Julian Saiyan. Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan. But here's the deal. He's never really played a lot of college ball. You're still going to be able to beat people, but is he going to go DJ Lagway his way to the top? Who knows? You probably don't even need a good quarterback when you got Jeremiah Smith coming back. How much are you paying this guy? Listen, you can have Daffy Duck at quarterback for all we care. Just they're man-to-man, lob it up. That's all you do. First down. I really like the defense. You've also got Caleb Downs coming back. Ohio State. You're looking really good. But I got you at number 4 only because of the quarterback situation. I need some comfort. Julian Sands on your roster. He's a top-rated quarterback. Never seen the guy throw a ball. How the hell am I supposed to know if he's good? But I got you at number 4 because if Ryan Day says you can throw, guess what? You can throw. Uh-oh, I think you're on mute.
There you go. I'm back. No, I totally agree. I think that, yeah, Ryan Day knows his shit, man. I think that he's very reliable. My number 5 and number 4. Number 5, I have Penn State. Look, Penn State, I mean, you got Jim Knowles coming in. That is huge. And your defense was already unbelievable. And now you got a guy like Knowles coming. That's insane. And you have returners. You have Drew Aller coming back. You have Nick Singleton and Katron Allen coming back. That is unbelievable. They're going to be one of the best rosters in college football. But I have a big issue. My big issue is James Franklin. He can never get over the hump. He can never make it. It's funny. People were like, "Oh, he finally did it. He finally made it over the hump. He's fine." And then, but it's funny because the wins he had were what over. Who did they win? They played against
SMU,
SMU
Boise.
and Boise. They had the easiest route in the college football playoff, in my opinion. And it's like, okay, yeah, you won those 2 games, but guess what? You were more talented than those teams. You were favorited over those teams. And then right when you play a team that is, you're pretty even in talent with, you lose. You lose. So that's my thing with Penn State. But I think that they have the potential to win a national championship. I thought, listen, if they would have made it to the national championship, I would have picked them to win it. They didn't. They lost. Drew Aller did not look good. He could not complete a pass to a single receiver in that game. That's why I have them number 5. Number 4 for me is Texas. Look, this is a tough one for me because the Arch Manning hype is so weird. This kid just signed a $6.6 million NIL deal with like Red Bull or something. What? EJ, what the hell, man?
Money.
That is 6 times more money than Brock Purdy had in his rookie contract that he's making right now. What? This kid hasn't even... he started 1 college football game? 2? I mean, just unbelievable, man. Look, I think he's a very... I think the reason I have them still at number 4 is I think he's a very talented quarterback. And you're in a, Steve Sarkisian offensive scheme that, he is a proven offensive play caller. And I think they're under Steve Sarkisian, they're always going to be a top 10 team. And with the talent that they have on defense and on the offensive side of the ball, with those running backs coming back in that backfield to help Arch Manning and take some of the weight off of him, I think that they will be a really good football team and be very scary. My issue is all that money going to get to Arch Manning's head? Now, I will say this. I think that there's less of a chance of that happening because he already had that kind of weight on his shoulders of being a Manning, so he already kind of knows how to deal with that. So that I'd give him that over just the average kid that comes up and is a starting quarterback and the star of a team. But still, man, think about it. When Caleb Williams got offered that penthouse suite his last year in college football, remember when they went 7-5 the year after he won the Heisman? Just saying, that stuff gets to these kids' heads. Is that going to happen with Arch Manning? Yeah, I think it might, but just because of all the other, C.J. Baxter, all these other guys in the backfield, they're a very talented team. I think that Texas is gonna be okay. So there you go. That's my number 4. EJ, let's hear your top 3.
Top 3. Ding 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 ding. All right. Now, I agree with everything you said about Texas. I got Tejas coming in at number 3. Now, Arch Manning. You don't even need the $6.6 million, dude. Your daddy makes all that money. Peyton Manning. He can give you whatever. Eli Manning, they can give you whatever you want. You don't even need the $6 million. Here's the deal. I wonder how the money is changing people. Because if you're Arch Manning, you're thinking, well, now I actually have to play and be criticized if I don't throw a completion on every pass. If Quinn Ewers came back, he could make $6.6 million and be the most famous guy in Texas. Because you know what they say. The backup quarterback is the most popular guy on the team. Hell, I'd like to do that and make $6.6 million and not have to play it down. So now we're going to see if Arch Manning can get it done. I like his legs. I like his deep ball. Hell, that's all you need nowadays. Wisner. Good little running back. He's coming back. Wingo, wide receiver, coming back. And the Texas defense finally showed us something. Now, Texas and Tennessee were in a similar boat this year. They both made the playoff. Both had to play Ohio State. They both start with a T. They both are orange.
They're both
They both
UT.
had easy. They both are UT. They both had easy schedules. Dude, we didn't have an easy schedule. Yeah, you had an easy schedule. Okay, Tennessee, you didn't play. We were the second best team on your schedule. Florida. Who else was on your schedule other than Alabama? Nobody. Texas, you didn't play anybody either. When you played us, we had Make-A-Wish Kid at quarterback. But I will say this. Because of that, you don't play a hard schedule. You got Arch Manning, $6.6 million. He's hyped up on Red Bull. You should be able to win 11 games if all things are going well. And you know the media is going to want to have Texas in there. So guess what? You're number 3. Number 2. I love number 2. Well, I don't like doing number 2. But some people, it's kind of gross. But anyway, Notre Dame. Now, some people are going to say, well, Notre Dame, they don't have a quarterback. Yeah, they do. I saw the guy play. Angelic Angeli. I didn't even put him in here. Angelic Angeli. Let me tell you something. When that guy got out there, he was throwing dimes. I was like, man, keep this guy in there. Leonard, they brought him back in the second half. I was like, well, why are you bringing him back? Are you going to run? Angeli got something. Now, they are saying that he's going to be in a quarterback battle with somebody else, but if it's me, I'm putting Angeli out there. And then guess who you got? Show much love. Jeremiah Love at running back. That's all you need. This guy can run all over people.
Huge that he's
Now,
coming back.
here's the deal. You didn't even give him the ball when you played Ohio State. What were you thinking? Well, you were down by 30 points, so maybe that's why. But still.
He was a little hurt too. He definitely was probably about 70%.
Well, I take a 70% love over 100% whatever they were doing.
It's true. It's true.
So, love. And then guess what? Our man is going to have a great defense. So, Notre Dame, people say you should be in a conference because you always get criticized. They played like a champion. Notre Dame, you're number 2. And now this was a very difficult decision as to who I was going with for number 1. People are going to want to say, well, you should pick a normal number 1 team because defending national champs. But I said, listen, who made it the furthest and did the most and is returning the most people? Penn State. Now I get it. James Franklin, you're cursed. You can't beat anyone that's anywhere. If a team is like anywhere near as good as you are in terms of your talent, it's the automatic jinx, and Penn State's going to lose. But maybe this year's different. And you know why I really put you at number 1? Because not only do you have Drew Aller and Singleton and Allen, I love those guys. That might be the second best backfield in the nation behind Lagway and Baugh and Jackson. But the reason I put you at number 1 is because our man, Jim Beyonce Knowles, he's your defensive coordinator. You know what that means? We're going to actually get stops on 3rd down now. We're actually going to blitz. We're actually going to play zone. We're going to stop people. Maybe that's all you need. 1 more stop a game on average. You probably wouldn't have lost the game. You definitely wouldn't have lost to who's the team you lost to in the regular season? I guess it was Ohio State. That
Yeah.
was a close game. So guess what? Jim Beyonce Knowles knows the Ohio State playbook. When you play Ohio State, Penn State will be ready. Aller. Now, Aller, you got to throw to a wide receiver, buddy. I don't know what that was against Notre Dame, but it wasn't it. You got to throw to a wide receiver. I know people are going to look at me like, what the hell is this? Joe Paterno is not the coach anymore. Penn State, don't let me down. Number one.
Do you know if Tyler Warren is coming back? The tight end for Penn State. That's going to be a big time loss if he's going to the NFL.
I thought he was leaving.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so now someone has to step up in that position on the offensive side of the ball, because Drew
yes.
Aller likes that tight end. He likes to throw to tight ends, as we know. So someone has to step up there and go crazy. But I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. That just having Jim Knowles as your defensive coordinator, that's just like unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. I like it. Let's go to my top three. Starting at number 3, I have the Fighting Irish. They're at number 3, Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman, dude, what a head coach. He's one of my favorite coaches in college football right now. You can tell he loves his guys. He's grounded. He doesn't have a lot of energy. But he's just very methodical, and I love it. You could tell he's not one of those coaches like Lane Kiffin that goes in and brings a bunch of guys in the transfer portal, you know what I mean, and just doesn't know how to build a roster. You could tell this team cares about each other. They have, listen, getting Love back is unbelievable. That is one of the biggest returnees in college football, because you're going to need help, because I don't know who that quarterback's going to be. I do like that quarterback you talked about. He came in. It was obviously very easy, scripted one-read passes that he made, but still, you're coming in at a big moment. It was a semifinal, wasn't it? Coming in this semifinal, huge game. The nation's watching you. He didn't look too nervous. He came in, made some great throws, drove him down the field. Riley Leonard obviously comes back out. I think they get 3 points, or is it 3 points or I think it was 3 points on that drive. So look, against a really good defense. So look, I think that they're going to be a good little team next year. Defensively, I think they're fine. My problem with Notre Dame is, what do they have on the outside in the wide receiver position? How many returnees? I don't think they have a lot. So can you make your quarterback comfortable? You can't just rely on Jordan Love, because obviously he's injury prone, as we know. So can you make it easy for this quarterback, first year in the system, not first year in the system, but first year starting, to get your playmakers in the open field. He obviously was pretty comfortable throwing the ball down the field and in the middle of the field, in that semifinal game. So that's something you'd like to see. A lot of guys are very hesitant, you know what I mean, to throw those passes in the middle, because you have these, dropping defensive ends. You got the linebackers there, the safeties coming up. He looked very comfortable throwing these slants and throwing it into tight windows. So I think as a fan, you got to be very excited for that. So Notre Dame, I think they're going to keep up the consistency. I really trust Marcus Freeman there at the helm. Number 2 I have is Georgia, a team that I'm very high on. I agree, Gunnar Stockton. You know me, I talk so bad on this kid. And then going in that semifinal game, I happen to be right, but I will say this: I think in this having another year under the system as that starting quarterback, because he knew he wasn't going to start under Carson Beck, but now that he's starting, he's more mobile. You could tell he's very aggressive. He's physical. When he put his head down and got absolutely obliterated at like the 3-yard line in that game, definitely had a concussion. But man, he's just an aggressive player. I like his energy. He's a Georgia boy. I think the team's going to get around him. I do agree. Their wide receiver room this year was one of the worst wide receiver rooms I've ever seen. You had Dylan Bell, but you had not Lat McConkey. Who's the other guy that came in? The other little short white guy. I don't know. He was pretty good. He had good moments. But you gotta have that guy, right? And Georgia did not have that guy this year, and they still made it pretty far in the playoff. So I expect Georgia to maybe get a couple guys out of the transfer portal if they haven't yet. In the wide receiver room, because someone has to step up. If no one steps up, Georgia is not going to be a top 5 team. But if someone does, I think they're going to be solid, because they have obviously, probably a top 3 talent, I would say, in the country. So that's going to get you far as it is. And I think with Kirby Smart at the helm, he can win a national championship any single year and will contend every single year when he's head coach there. Number 1, I have Ohio State. I really like this Ohio State team, man. A lot of returnees. I think a lot of guys, they just want to beat Michigan this year, man. These guys are pissed. Now that they won a national championship, I think Ryan Day finally got over that hump, right? Same thing with James Franklin. If he can win the national championship, I think they will consistently win the national championship. I think Ryan Day doubted himself whether he wants to admit it or not about him winning these big games, right? Now that he's done it, he believes in himself. His team believes in him. Now all the outside noise saying, oh, you can't win that's gone now. That's gone. Now it's straight focus on Michigan. Now it's straight focus on, hey, we did this before. Let's do this shit again, right? And I think they're gonna be as angry as ever. You have Jim Knowles leaving you. That's fine. We're gonna go get the Rutgers head coach and bring him over, who's a very good head coach, by the way. Will Howard's going out. That's okay. We have a great backup quarterback. That's one of the best quarterbacks in his class. Gonna step up and play well. We're losing our running back to the NFL. That's fine. We have a couple of guys in the back that are going to come in here and dominate. We're going to reload. We're going to be what Georgia and Alabama used to be. We're just going to reload, and go at this year. And I think Ohio State fans, they're ready to seize it, baby. There's a weird energy around that program that is scary. And I think that they can go on a crazy run here these next few years and be consistently dominant. Now that Ryan Day finally has confidence in himself and that his fans have his back. I think that's huge. So we'll see. Going to be fun. That's our top 10 though, man. That's going to be my top 3. It's my top 10. Like I said, I did miss Tennessee, but Tennessee is probably around like 17, 18 for me. Like I said, I don't have too much trust in Nico. That's my thing, is I don't think Nico's the quarterback for a Josh Heupel system. But yeah, that's going to be our top 25. Anyone that has any criticisms or anything, I'm sure there's plenty. Let us know. Who's your top 10? Who's your top 5? What do we get wrong? What do we get right? Me and EJ, I think, had the same exact top 10. It was just same amount of teams, just like switched around. So we kind of have the same idea. EJ, any final thoughts on the top 25 we gave?
I think this is a great top 25. I think it's well thought through. Yeah, I think the top 10, it is what it is. It'll be interesting to see the playoff race this year. I think it'll be it was wide open this year a little bit, but by the time you got to the playoffs, it's like, man, Ohio State is turning it on. Who can do that this year? It'll be interesting to see. I like Auburn. I like how you had Auburn in there. I actually really like them as a pick. But yeah, maybe you'll have to bump them out now and put Tennessee in.
That's honestly probably how it'll go, man. That's honestly how it'll go. I love it. Well, yeah, you guys let us know, man. Like I say, your thoughts on that. Also, any list that you guys want us to make, whether it's Heisman, whether it's the draft class list, whatever you guys want us to do, we will start doing that in the future. Make sure you guys follow us on our Instagram. Link will be down in the description down below. The SwampCast Pod on Instagram, man. We will be telling you guys every time we go live, because we're going to start doing live videos from now on. Yeah, we love you guys. CJ, any last words to everyone out there?
Peace, love, and happiness.
There you go, baby. We'll see you soon. You guys stay safe.